All right, everyone. We are back at another episode of the Black Barbers Doc podcast. Guess what? We got Ree the Barber to my left, and we have LaQuista to my right. This about to be a dope episode, y'all. I'm telling you. Like, I mean, they have went viral with the haircuts and all this other stuff, and LaQuista is just gonna basically just break it all down to us. Just introduce yourself, LaQuista, and just tell us who you are.
Ooh, okay, so I am LaQuista Erinna. I am a doctor. I'm a licensed therapist. I am an Army veteran. Um, I'm an autism mom. I think that is the one thing that people really have come to know me as Jackson's mom. Like all the titles and accolades. I am Jackson's mom, and I'm proud to be Jackson's mom. So I'm also a content creator, but yeah, I'm just out here as a single mom trying to do the best that I can with my son and also educate people at the same time.
That's beautiful. Pass the mic.
Yep.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Ooh, I'm just the barber.
Read the Barber.
I'm Ree the Barber.
The barber.
I'm Ree the Barber. Thank you.
Right.
I got you. So let's dive into it. So LaQuista.
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 You
I,
got it. You got it.
I got
right.
it. LaQuista. I keep messing it up. I got it.
You
LaQuista.
can call me Lala.
Lala.
Yep. That,
Lala.
People
Thank
call me
you.
Lala.
Thank you, man.
Look,
I'm
I
over
had
here.
to let you squirm for
I'm
a
over
little
here.
bit.
She was watching me. She was watching me sing. She was just sitting back like he messing it up again. Messed up again. Then 20 minutes in, that she's gonna say, "Oh, you can call me Lala."
Lala.
Wow. So let's dive into it. So Lala, aka Jackson's mom. I saw a lot of you guys' videos on social media, and you guys went viral a couple times with Ree the Barber and Jackson, just your beautiful son and your relationship. Explain you and Jackson's relationship.
Ooh. I like to. So I'm a mom, single mom of two boys. I have a 19-year-old and Jackson's 8. I like to say if Jackson was my first child, he would be an only child because he is my no limit soldier. When I tell you I was not ready for him, but Jackson has really helped me to grow as a mom and helped me to grow in areas that I frankly had some deficiencies in, mainly patience. So I am a person who likes, I want what I want and I want it now. And having a child who is autistic, that don't go together. So I would say our relationship is very close. He's a mama's boy. He's always up under me, and so I jokingly say I'm Jackson's mom. But when people see me, they don't ask how you doing, where's Jackson. Oh, okay. Okay, nobody cares about me, but that's fine. Like I'm here, I'm his biggest supporter, I'm his biggest advocate, and he's just a regular little boy who happens to be on the spectrum or autistic, neurodivergent, whatever you want to call it. um, we just have this great relationship, and it wasn't always like that. I kind of struggled through parenting a child with special needs, but we kind of found our groove and we've been rocking with it ever since.
So my next question goes to you, Ree the Barber. She's so nervous. I don't know why. Like,
Come on,
but
Reese.
just, but it's cool. So, how have you grown as a? Well, who are you as a barber first? Are you a barber first, or is there something else that you do in this community, or like, how do you be behind the chair and just be able to cut hair? Like, what does that mean to you as a barber?
Being behind the chair, cutting hair mean a lot to me because it's like I'm building relationships every day, and my clientele ends up being like my family. So it's like we locked in, you can't. Everybody is not able to like be a part of this family either, you know. So it's like it mean the world to me though.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So let me ask you this, Lala. So, finding Ree the Barber. Jackson used to not like getting his hair cut. Can we talk about that?
Oh yes. So
I need to hear it all.
So I'm gonna tell you the story, and Ree gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. So when was it? 2019. I was going through a divorce, and I moved back. So I'm originally from Georgia, but I was living in New Jersey, and so we came back to Georgia. I was like, I don't know how to cut hair. You know, my oldest son, he'll go to anybody. Like he really don't care. But I knew it was going to be an issue with Jackson. And so I asked my sister, I'm like, well, who cuts your kid's hair? And her best friend, was like, oh, like, here's my barber. You know, cause she lives kind of like, we both live in Gwinnett. She was like, I got this barber. She's in Gwinnett. She gave me Ree's number. So Ree was at another shop then. And so I made an appointment for my oldest son, and I think I put a note or something. I was like, hey, I have another son, but he don't like getting his hair cut. Do you think you can cut his hair? She's like, oh, it's cool. It's cool. Like, she's so laid back. Oh, I got him. Don't worry about it. And so Jackson, he would get to the point where he would know where we're going. He's like, we're going to the barbershop. I'm like, mm-mm. And I'm like, no, we're not. But he started to learn the route, and he would start freaking out before we even got there. So I'm like, yeah, nah, this not gonna work. And Ree actually came out to the car, and she like trying to consult. She was like, let me cut your hair. And he was like 3. He was little. He wasn't trying to have it, but you know, she was like, I got it. I got you. So I remember the first time bringing him into the shop. You know, it's a typical barbershop, like, you know, all these men in there, me, single mom, going in with this child who just showed out on me. And she's just cool. Like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I literally wanted to, like, I'm sitting in the barber's chair and I'm trying to hold him. And he gagging, he kicking, he screaming, I just want to slide and I just wanted to crawl inside of myself and just die. And she's like, don't worry about it. It's okay. She made me feel comfortable, but you know, we got through it. She did what she could do. And eventually I was like, you know what, this is too much. Like, it was stressing me out more than it was stressing her out, because she was fine with it. And so I continued to let my oldest son go, and Jackson, we're going to the barbershop. It was always that type of thing. But he got used to Ree. Like, he would come up here, especially when she moved to this shop. He would come up here and he would peep in, like he's sitting like outside of like this space, and he would come and he would peep in, and then eventually he would come and speak to Ree. He was like, hey, and she was just very friendly and open. And one day out the blue, he's like, can Ree cut my hair? And I'm like, I said, Jackson, don't play with me. Ain't nobody got no money to Ree's time is valuable. You're not about to embarrass me. I'm not about to, you know, go up there, waste her time. And she was like, yeah, I got him. I'm going to cut you. And he walked up in here one day and sat up and let her cut his hair.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes he has what we call sensory processing disorders. So with sensory processing disorders, a lot of kids who are neurodivergent or who are autistic, they experience different senses differently. So for him, he describes the clippers like claws like biting him, or the buzzing, like it vibrates and everything shakes. So it's intensified for him. And so it's very difficult for him to sit and be still. So the buzzing, the clippers, the hair falling on him, it's a lot. And so he gets overstimulated, and then he'll have what we call a meltdown. So a meltdown is different than a tantrum. So people think, you see these kids just having, what looks like a tantrum or a fit.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, just discipline them, tell them to stop. It's different with a meltdown, because it's like he doesn't see or experience anything. It's kind of like an out of body experience, if I could describe it that way. He has no awareness of where he is, of his body. And so he's just kind of like all over the space. And it's really important, in those moments to make sure that, one, they're not harming themselves, and two, that you have patience. See, that patience thing
Right.
that I said I didn't have,
Right.
he broke me in real nice with that. Yeah,
Wow.
so for the most part, he does really well, but she adapts to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you adapt to cutting Jackson's hair?
So when I see Jackson's want to play around and run around, I'll play around and run around. Because I've been behind the chair all day. I'm stiff as a brick. Like, it felt good to run and play, and you know what I mean? Like, it loosens me up a little bit. You know what I mean? So I enjoy that. Like, it don't bother me. That's my homeboy, man.
But you
Yeah.
came up with a whole game.
But
Right.
the game, I just thought about it in like 2 seconds. Because he had the Sonic, and I think
was
it was
Mario.
Tails.
It was Mario.
It was Mario,
Yeah.
right? What was the other? It was just Mario that day.
Yeah, he had a Mario hoodie on.
And then he had the stuffed animal,
Yeah,
Mario.
he has.
And
Yep.
so I figured, okay, we're going to run around, and I'm going to make it a game, and we got to get the hair off of the Mario. But really, we got to get the hair off of you. You know what I mean? But it took everything off of him to make him feel like, okay, we just going to focus on the Mario and just act like Mario was getting, the haircut or whatever. But that game, I don't even know how I came up with that game. It just happened. But he enjoyed it, though. The haircut happened. That day, she didn't even think it was going to happen, though.
Mm-mm.
She was like, oh, come on, Jackson, we're leaving. We just going to go home. And I was like, oh, hold up. I was like, nah, just chill. I was like, I got him. Like, I'm going to get it done. And she was sitting over there looking crazy. She was like, looking like she was ready to go. And I'm like, nah, he can't leave like that. You know what I'm saying? So I figure I got to think about something quick. I got to come up with something. Because I ain't want her to feel like, Dad, I ain't never going to get my son haircut, And I wanted her to know that she could depend on me. So, and it just started becoming a consistent thing. And then we locked in,
Oh, yeah.
So how does that make you feel as a mom? Is it a relief? How does that make you feel that you found someone that can cut your son's hair?
Yeah, it's a huge relief. As I mentioned before, like, I would be just as nervous or anxious as Jackson, because I'm thinking, what are all these people thinking? Like, I'm not supposed to be in this space. Like, I'm a woman coming into this, culturally it's a male dominated field. I'm already feeling like an outsider, and then I bring a child in who is unruly or just doesn't want to sit and get his hair cut. And so, yeah, not here. Like, we love it here. Like, we love it here. We love it here. But Ree has really created like this space to really be yourself. Like, it's a private setting where he can come in, and if he's having a hard time, like, she'll give him his moment and I just sit over there and I relax. I'm just the camera. It's like the Jackson and Ree show, and all I do is put my phone up and I record. Sometimes I get to interact, because sometimes he be doing the most. Rework for her money. Like he put her to work, but it really does make me feel like he belongs, and I think every parent and every child should feel that way, because we've been kicked out of barbershops before.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I never.
So the first shop, I don't know what happened to her and Jackson. I just never seen them again. They disappeared, and that was that. And then I came over here, and then Jackson started liking it here. He started coming in. So at the old shop, one of the barbers, when he was like, "Oh, I got your son, I got him," and he grabbed him, and he was like, "Come on, recut his hair," and took Jackson from her. And I guess that made her feel uncomfortable. And I still was cutting her oldest son though, but I never seen Jackson after that. And I'm like, yo, what happened? And I never would ask. I wouldn't say anything. I'm like, yo, what happened to him? Because I was cool with it. Like, what happened? I'm thinking nothing's wrong. But then I started thinking, I'm like, you know what? When he started coming in here, when I got this shop, I'm like, okay, that's what it was. When dude grabbed him. And she like, nah, I ain't having that. You ain't going to be grabbing my child, you know? And that's what barbers think. Like, let me just grab him, sit him down, get a haircut. That's not how it go. You can't do it like that. You know what I mean?
And I get that, you know, he was trying to help. I don't think he meant like anything by like grabbing him. But I think like in our culture, it's especially with boys, you're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to misbehave. You're supposed to sit up. That's a rite of passage to get your hair cut. And you should just sit up and take it. But when I honestly think about it, when I used to rock the short haircuts and I had the little undercut, oh, them clippers was biting me too. So how could I expect my child, my 3 and my 4-year-old, to sit when I'm over here jumping myself as a grown woman? Yeah.
They do sometimes. The blade could be sharp a little bit, you know, because we want to like kind of tattoo the hairline in your head, so you ain't gotta worry about, you know what I'm saying, ever, you know what I'm saying, needing a haircut. You know, it'll last for a little while. You know what I mean? But I don't think he meant nothing by it either, but it was just like he was just trying to get him to sit still and get the haircut out the way. But it's so many ways you could go about it other than doing it like that.
Right.
So
You were talking about was it owning, your son is owning the spectrum?
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so we're all familiar with the On the Spectrum. There's so many shows, Love on the Spectrum, or, you know, just being on the spectrum, ON. But I think for Jackson, we wanted to really showcase how he has taken what is really meant to be like a handicap or meant to be a limiting thing or a limiting belief, because there's so many different stereotypes about what he should or shouldn't be able to do. And so we like to say Jackson is owning the spectrum, OWNING. So he is redefining what autism looks like. There's so many people who and it grinds my gears when people when people say, oh, but he looks normal. Okay, like they really say it like it's a compliment, but he doesn't look autistic. And I'm like, well, what does that look like? Like, do you know how many people are probably on the spectrum who are undiagnosed? And you know, people say, well, why wasn't autism a thing back in the day? Well, it was. We just didn't name it a thing, you know, call a thing a thing. Like, we all had people in our families who we know, you know, maybe didn't quite fit what we thought normal should look like. But that doesn't have to limit, you know, what your child can do. Yeah. And so with Jackson, I just try to support whatever he's into. Now, I know his limitations, and I don't take it lightly that we are very fortunate that, he's very intelligent. Like he functions very well. He probably what we call mask a lot. So
What is that?
so masking is like when you fit into normal society, and so he's like he has a lot of anxious energy. You may have kind of, he's always up under me. But he tries to fit in. So a great example, a couple years ago, he had for his birthday we had a game truck, and he's very sensitive to loud noises, and this gaming truck is so loud, but he wanted to be with his friends and have friends. And I could just see my baby trying so hard to like just fit in and just get through it. And I'm like, Jackson, you okay? And he's like, yeah. And so he's gotten to the point now where he doesn't like to wear his headphones. Like he used to wear the headphones everywhere he would go because it was so too sensitive for him. But he likes to fit in. Like he doesn't want to stand out because he will get picked on by some people or some kids. You know how kids are. So he just tries to fit in, and I just let him know he can be whomever he wants to be. And I just support that as a mom.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this particular interview is because following you guys' journey, but then also educating myself, and then through my platform educating others as well. And I think that sometimes in our community we look at things that aren't normal to us, so to speak, but at the same time it's really about us educating ourselves. And that's what this session is about, me learning what the masking is, and children or people that are on the spectrum that have the headphones that may be sensitive to noises and things of that sort. I mean, I'm learning a lot from you as a mother as well, and even meeting Jackson as well, and seeing his expressive personality. He gonna let you know how he feel. So he don't have no problem with saying yeah. But how has so Ree, your trust as a barber, like you deal with many clients as well, how has that helped you grow as with Jackson of building that trust with cutting his hair?
So when he comes in, I'll pay attention to him to see like what he's acting like, what he's feeling, and I'll just move on, like move how he moving. You know what I mean? I'll let him lead the way for real, and I'll just follow behind him. And really, that's how we get the haircut done. Like whatever he feeling at the time, that's what we gonna do. If he moving this way, I'm gonna move the same. Like, you know what I mean? So that's how I really get the haircut done, off of going off his body language.
What about so you said the Mario game that you made up with him. So what was the most difficult moment of cutting his hair? Like how did you overcome the most difficult moment, and what was that of while you were cutting his hair?
The most difficult moment is trying to like get the line straight. The fade is like, it's easy to fade his hair because the fade is like, if I'm fading one side, if I gotta stop that side, I'll just come right back to it. But to get the line straight, that's the most difficult part, because it's like the child, he's gonna constantly move, and that's like any kid. Like you can't expect a kid just to sit there and don't move at all. You know what I mean? And I'm used to it, and Jackson has helped me even get better with that, with any child. You know what I mean? So because I feel most comfortable with Jackson. You know what I mean? Because I've been cutting his hair so long. Like he was a baby, so it's like he helps me when it comes to like cutting other kids.
That's awesome. I love the synergy. I think you guys, I can see the relief in the relationship that you guys have formed. That's a beautiful thing. Even as a grown man, just making sure that I can sit in the chair and feel comfortable with my barber or barbers that I have throughout the East Coast or throughout the world that when I travel and things of that sort, but how have you grown as a mom with having a child that's on the spectrum? Just said,
we're gonna go back to that patience thing.
Okay.
It's still a work in progress, but I think for me, it helped me to find my voice. Like, I'm naturally very like chill, introverted, but when you have a child that society always has opinion on, like, mama bear is gonna come out. And so through advocating for him and speaking up for him, I've also learned to do that for myself in spaces. Like, as mothers, we feel like we have to sacrifice ourselves for everybody. And so I'm a real big proponent for self-care, especially mothers and women. And so I know that I can't do what I need to do to be a great mom to Jackson if I'm not taking care of myself. So I make sure I take care of myself, whether that is, fitness, eating well, relaxing. I love my child, but when it's time for him to go away to his other parents' home, I take full advantage of that. And really use that time to refresh and just fill my cup back up. So, Jackson, he's a very creative individual, and he kind of sparks that in me, and I just get so many ideas from him. Like, he has such big dreams and ideas, and he makes me believe that it's possible. And so I just try to support that. And I feel like that's my purpose, to make sure he is in a position to be whatever he wants to be. And I know he can achieve it.